We continue now at the top of Daf Mem Tes Amud Beis in Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 49b. This Daf is sponsored by Rabbi Simcha Dessler in memory of Harav Nachum Zev ben Harav Eliezer Dessler Zatzal. Thank you for your sponsorship. If you would like to sponsor an Amud or a Daf, please see the description box below for details. The Gemara here is in the middle of discussing whether if you have the leather of an uman, is the uman makbid not to use that for anything and therefore it's muksa on Shabbos, or is he not makbid? And the Gemara now is in the middle of bringing a proof from Rabbi Yishmael Rabbi Yossi, who said, Abba, my father, shalocha hava, he was the person who dealt with tanning hides, he made leather. V'yomer, he said, hey, v'yu shalochin v'nei shevalein. This is talking about on weekdays. On weekdays, he would sometimes say, bring the leather and we'll sit down on it. So you see he wasn't makbid, and the Gemara is essentially bringing a proof to the position that it is not going to be muksa on Shabbos, because there is a use, even an uman would be willing to use these to sit on, and therefore they're not muksa on Shabbos. The Gemara now asks a question, Meisvei, we ask from a brisa, Nisaran shal balabayis, if you have the boards of wood from a balabayis, metaltalin osan, you can move them around. V'shal uman, but if it's from a craftsman, ein metaltalin osan, you cannot move it around. V'im chishev loses alei and pas laorchen, but if he thought to use this to put bread on it for the guests, vein kach uvein kach metaltalin, and then in either case you can move it around. But in any case, you seem to see from here that if it belongs to an uman, he's makbid. The Gemara says, Shani Nisarim the kapit alai. It's different by boards of wood. Wood is something the person actually is makbid on. There's no proof from that item to items like leather. Tashma bring another proof. Oros bein avudin uvein she'ein avudin, when a person has hides, whether they've been tanned or not. Mutter l'taltalin b'Shabbos, the person can move them around on Shabbos. Lo amru avudin elo le'inyan tumah bilvad. The issue of whether they're tanned only makes a difference regarding tumah. The halach is that it has to be a finished kli. It's only makabel tumah when it's avudin, when it's already been tanned. But in any case, the Gemara says, my lav lo shna shel balabayis v'lo shna shel uman. Aren't we saying that you can move it around on Shabbos, whether it's a balabayis, whether it belongs to a professional? The Gemara says, lo, no, shel balabayis. We're only talking about a balabayis. Aval shel uman mai, but the Gemara says, so what would be by a craftsman? Ein metaltalin, you're not allowed to move it. If so, why does the Brisa say that the only time, the qualification that they make is the only time we talk about avudin is by tumah? The Brisa should make a distinction within what it's talking about, meaning within the halachas of Shabbos, and it should say when is all this true? When it belongs to balabayis. Aval b'shel uman lo, but when it belongs to an uman, you're not allowed to move it around. So the Gemara answers simply, Kula b'balabayis kamairi. This particular brisa was talking about specifically about the oros that belong to a balabayis, so we're only making distinctions within a balabayis. So the Gemara now says, Kitanoi, let us say that this issue is a machlokas tanoim. The brisa says, Oros shel balabayis metaltalin osan, v'shel uman ein metaltalin osan. If you have the hides of a balabayis, they can be moved. If it belongs to uman, they cannot be moved. Rabbi Yossi says, Echad zeh v'echad zeh metaltalin osan. It doesn't matter whether it belongs to a balabayis, whether it belongs to an uman. There's no hakpada, and the person is allowed to move it around. The Gemara now continues at the two dots. Hadar Yasri v'kami bailuhu. The same Amoraim who we were speaking about before, they were one time sitting around and they asked the following question. That which we learned in the Mishnah, that there are 39 avos malachas, keneged mi, what do those 39 malachas correspond to? Amar lahu Rabbi Chanina bar Chama. So Rabbi Chanina bar Chama said to them, keneged avodos ha-mishkan. It corresponds to the different avodas that they did when they were building the Mishkan. Amar lahu Rabbi Yonasan Rabbi Lazar. So Rabbi Yonasan Rabbi Lazar said, Kach Amar Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Yossi ben Lakunya. So says Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Yossi ben Lakunya, Keneged Melacha Melachto Melechas Shabbatorah Arboim Chaser Achas. If you count up all the times it says different versions of the word Melacha, whether it be Melachto, Meleches, whether it be Melacha, it's going to come out to 39 times. That's where we get the 39 Melachas. Boy, Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef asked, Vayavo habayis lasos Melachto miminyanuhu olo. What about the pasuk of Vayavo habayis lasos Melachto? We're going to take a look at Rashi. We'll see all the distinctions in these psukim. Amar le Abayis. Abayis said to him, V'leisi Sefer Torah v'limni. Why don't we just bring a Sefer Torah and count and see if there's 39 without that one? We don't count it. If we need that one, we'll count it. Milo Amar Rabbi Bar Chanan Rabbi Yochanan. Didn't Rabbi Bar Chanan say in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Zazum Misham Hacheviu Sefer Torah Umanim, that they didn't leave their place until they brought a Sefer Torah and counted. So let's do that over here as well. Amar Lei said to him, no, the reason why I have a doubt is because there's actually a second pasuk I'm not sure about, the pasuk of V'hamlacha haisadayim. Miminyonahu, is that part of the minyan? V'hakaman da'amar lasot sarachav nichnas, and then we'd be going like the opinion that in the first pasuk it has to do with the fact that Yosef had relations with Potiphar's wife, or he went to have relations with Potiphar's wife, rather. O dilma vayavu habayis alasos malachto miminyonahu. Maybe vayavu habayis alasos malachto is talking about regular malacha. It's not talking about to go have relations with Potiphar's wife. V'hai v'amlocha haisadayim, in the pasuk of v'amlocha haisadayim, hachikamer, all that meant was the shalom le'avidita, that the donations were finished. That has nothing to do with malacha, and that's the one that doesn't count. Teku will leave that as a question. So I said this I explained this in short. We're going to take a look at Rashi and explain exactly what the issue is. So Rashi says over here as follows: Mishum dechsiv ha'amlocha haisadayim, v'imoninan l'travayu. If we're going to count both psukim, havu arbaim, we're going to have too many. We're going to have 40. Umidetanan avos malachas arbaim chaser achas ikachad lo leminyana. We know that there's one that we're not supposed to count. Uvahani trade to ikal amemer lo malacha ninhu, and we know that it's one of these two psukim. It does not actually mean work. That's the one that doesn't count. V'lo yadana ha'minayu nafik. We just don't know which one not to count. V'hachi kami boile, and here's the question: V'hamalacha isadayim iminyanahi umalacha mamish ka'amar v'hachi ka'amar. When it says that the work of the Mishkan was done, is it talking about actual work? And it means as follows: Hamalacha shahayu osin hayu osin dai lo pachos min hatzarach v'lo yoser. The actual work which they did was exact. It wasn't less than needed, and it wasn't more than needed. V'lo yoser min hatzarach wasn't more than needed. Kagon redo. They tassin l'tzipay crushim. For example, they had to flatten out the metal in order to cover up the beams. L'dai hayu meranos, and it was perfect the way they did it. V'chein b'tavei shel oros, the same thing when it came to spinning the b'tavei shel yirios, the same thing when it came to spinning the curtains. And according to that position, v'hai lasos malachdahu demapik. In that case, we would not count where it says by Yosef that he came to do his work. U'mesaya l'man da'amar b'Meseches sota lasos tzarachav nichnas l'shachei v'ima. That would be a proof to the one who says in Meseches sota that when it says v'yavo habayis lasos malachdo, it's referring to the fact that he came in order to have relations with Potiphar's wife. But he didn't do it because he saw the face of his father in front of him. His father told him in this vision that all the brothers, all the Shvatim, their names are going to be written on the stones of the ephod, and do you want your name not to be there? O Dilmor, perhaps, maybe it's talking about Yosef doing actual malacha. And it's a proof to the other position when it comes to the malacha by the Mishkan. When it says it's not talking about malacha. It's talking about donations. The idea being the malacha of donating to the Mishkan was complete. They didn't need any more donations. Rashi ends off by saying you should know anytime somebody's doing something, or he has a responsibility to do something, or he's on his way to do something, that's called malacha. It doesn't have to mean, it's called avirita. It doesn't have to mean actual work. Rashi here giving an example from Meseches sota where the word malacha is not referring to actual work. And again, as we said, the Gemara leaves this as a teku, leaves this as a question. The Gemara now says, Tanya command Amar Keneged Avodos HaMishkan. There is a brisa that follows the position that says that the 39 malachas correspond to the malachas of the Mishkan. To Tanya, we learned in a brisa, Ein chayavin ela malachas shakayotze ba ha'isa b'Mishkan. The brisa says that a person's only chayav on Shabbos if he does malacha that they were doing in the Mishkan, and the Brisa continues with examples. Heim zaru v'atem lo sizru. They planted for the Mishkan, and you shouldn't do that on Shabbos. Heim katzru v'atem lo siktzru. They harvested, and you shouldn't harvest. Heim helu es hakrashim mikarkal agola. They would bring the beams from the earth to the wagons. V'atem lo sachnisu me rishus harabim lo rishus hayachid. And you should not carry from rishus harabim to rishus hayachid. Heim horidu es hakrashim me agola lekarka. They would bring the beams down from the wagons to the earth, to the ground. And you should not carry from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim. Heim hotziu me'agola la'agola. They carried from one wagon to the other. Ve'atem lo sotziu me'Rishus Hayachid l'Rishus Hayachid. You shouldn't carry from one Rishus Hayachid to another. The Gemara says me'Rishus Hayachid l'Rishus Hayachid. My covet. Why can't you carry from one Rishus Hayachid to another? We never heard of such an isser. Abaye v'Rava da'amri tarvaya. Abaye and Rava both say v'Tamer Rav Ada bar Ava. Some people say it was Rav Ada bar Ava said me'Rishus Hayachid l'Rishus Hayachid derech Rishus Harabim. We're learning out from here that you cannot carry from one Rishus Hayachid to another Rishus Hayachid derech Rishus Harabim. We should just point out this one Rashi here. where did they plan to do these various things for the Mishkan? Heim zaru v'katzru samonim l'tzvoa tcheles. This was all to create samonim. These were certain plants that they used in order to dye the tcheles, va'oros elim, and also the leather. V'tachnu v'lashu nami samonim l'tzvoa. The same applied by grinding up, by kneading. This was all in order to make the components to dye the material. Va'ofa, what about baking? The katani v'masisun bavas malachas hu bishul samonim. That really refers to the cooking of these samonim. Ela denakat sidur de pas, in order to make it easy to remember, the way the Mishnah listed is the way that a person bakes bread. Va'achim mefarish b'peraklal gadol. This is all explained in Peraklal Gadol. Rashi says karka, when it says the ground, that's a rishus harabim. That of course refers to rishus harabim. And agola, when it says wagon, rishus hayochid, that's a rishus hayochid. Shegavo yud v'rach v'dalid, because an agola is 10 tvachim high and it's 4 tvachim wide, so it has the dimensions of rishus hayochid. And then it says derech rishus harabim. They would carry through rishus harabim the avir shebein ha'agola is rishus harabim, because the airspace between the various wagons was in fact a rishus harabim. Gemara now continues at the 2 dots, begizei tzemer ve'ein metaltlin. A person can do hatzmana with gizei tzemer, and you cannot move the gizei tzemer. There's a hakpada over there, and they're considered muksa. Amar Rava says, lo shanu ela shelo taman ben. When we say you cannot move the gizei tzemer, that's only if you did not do hatzmana with them. Avol taman ben, but if you did hatzmana metaltlin osan, you certainly can move them. Eisve ahume rabbanan bar yomei l'Rava. So there was a certain of the rabbanan of that day who asked Rava the following question. Tomnin begizei tzemer ve'ein metaltlin osan. It says that you can do hatzmana with gizei tzemer and you cannot move them around. Keitzad uosa, what should he do? And we'll continue from this brisa. We'll see a question on Rava's position. Rashi here just explains what does it mean that it was that day for the rabbanan ahume rabbanan bar yomei. Oso hayom bala beis midrash otchila. It means that day, this particular one of the rabbanan was the first one in the beis medrash, and he asked Rava this question. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Nun Amud Aleph.